Nesse episódio, querendo investigar e compreender um pouco mais sobre a indústria da prosperidade na fé, que está extremamente ligada com essa questão da cura pela fé, Darren e Nathan começam a ter alguns problemas com a polícia local, o que pode arruinar completamente o projeto. Quer saber mais? Continue assistindo.
It's our first morning in Dallas, where we've come to try and expose what I believe to be the truth behind the devastating world of faith healing. With Peter and the PR company out of the picture and the healing event only a week away, the enormous task of promoting Pastor James's mission now falls to us. So we've had some flyers printed up.
We have James here, who we're passing out the flyers for.
Hey,
this is
Adam, nice to meet you.
In the hotel lobby, Pastor James meets some people we've hired to hand out our flyers, but of course they don't know our true agenda.
I would like you to lead us in a prayer. You guys are more than welcome or not to join in.
Yes.
Okay. Lord, give these loving people the strength to do your work today. Let them be messengers of God, not of man, of God. And may your word come to as many as you see fit. Amen.
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 Okay. Thank you so much.
Feel good?
Have a good day, guys.
Having been inspired, they take to the streets with our flyers to publicise the event. But rather worryingly, back at the hotel, Nathan already seems to be finding the deception harder than he imagined.
There's going to be a lot of this. The worst bit of it is someone putting faith in somebody, and that somebody's me. And I'm not what they think I am.
Join the UK's Pastor James Collins and guests at the Lakewood Theatre for a unique healing event.
Meanwhile, the flyering continues and a local radio station puts out some ads to reach a larger audience.
Log on now, giftsofthespiritministry.com.
At the end of our first day in Dallas, we go to visit Ole Anthony and Pete Evans, who know the truth behind our mission. They run the Trinity Foundation, a group of Christians who investigate fraud committed by faith healers and televangelists.
Who are you?
Hello, I'm Darren.
You're Darren. You're the leader guy.
They've been instrumental in a number of high-profile TV exposés and are regularly used as consultants to the US government. As one of the founders of Trinity, Ole has enjoyed being the scourge of the televangelist movement for the last 30 years.
I was known as the Antichrist when we started working for the Senate Finance Committee. Now I'm promoted. I'm Satan incarnate.
We've come to glean any last-minute advice that Trinity may have to help us achieve our goal, and also for Nathan to find out firsthand the scale of the deceit here in America. I asked Ole what motivated him in his crusade. He recounted the story of a phone call he says he received from a woman right after she had seen him on TV successfully exposing a televangelist.
She had a 13-year-old daughter that had multiple sclerosis. And there was a testimonial. They had these pre-produced testimonials where a woman had made a $1,000 vow of faith and supposedly was healed of multiple sclerosis. Of course, it was an actor that did it. And so she, unbeknownst to her mother, over the course of a year, paid off the $1,000, mostly from her grandmother. So at the end of that year, when she finally paid it all off, she wasn't healed, she was far worse. She called the man of God that told her that she would be healed. And he told her that the reason she wasn't healed is that she had secret sin in her life. And this little girl, now 14, went in the backyard and she poured a can of gas on herself and literally committed suicide. And the mother just begged me to do something about this. We are so sickened by what we see these guys taking advantage of people that if you're successful in teaching this guy that you took off the street, quote unquote, to do the same thing that they're doing, there couldn't be a better example to show how foolish these people are to continue to supporting these idiots. You've got to be a hypocrite for a while so that the reality can be shown. Otherwise, this project will fail, because you're the key. We'll do everything we can to help you. Huh?
We had decided before leaving our hotel that it would be useful for Nathan to deliver an informal sermon to a few members of the Trinity Foundation for them to cast their critical eyes over his performance. However, when it came time to set up for this, it transpired that Nathan wasn't at all happy with the lack of prep time he'd been given.
I think we need to do a little bit of consulting Nathan about what you want to do, because otherwise I'm just going to be fucked off, and then it's not going to be very good. So it's really up to you.
No, but this isn't a situation with a...
Look, I'm saying it is, so that's all that matters until you convince me otherwise. I didn't do this for any other reason except for when you guys asked me, I would have said no. I said, is this serious? Are we going to do this properly? I'm not an idiot. I'm going to do what I think's right at the end of the day.
At the moment, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to get by.
Don't worry about it. Monkey or perform, and that's it. Monkey or perform, done.
Well, I'm sorry it's been sprung on you a little bit, which I think isn't ideal. No, it wasn't sprung on you on purpose. There'd be no benefit in doing that at all.
It's very difficult to believe.
Despite Nathan's concerns, he went on to deliver the first part of his act, where he describes his personal history of how he became a faith healer.
My name's James, and when I was younger, I had everything. For whatever reason, that wasn't enough for me.
At the end of his performance, the audience had an opportunity to give some feedback.
Very, very good.
You just started doing this, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm not a preacher in any way
Well,
respect at all.
You know,
You did unbelievable.
you learn, but
I'm
it's very
shocked.
powerful.
I thought you were speaking directly to me. You seem to be without pretense, and that's the most powerful thing that you can bring to the table. I'm super impressed, you guys. I really am.
That's such a relief. At the hotel, Nathan and I do some more work to give his preaching power and punch.
You cannot fill that God-shaped hole with money. And in your head you're going, oh yeah, as you walk away. And that preacher said to me, you cannot fill that God-shaped hole with sex. And that preacher said to me as he looked down the barrel of that television camera into my heart, you cannot fill that God-shaped hole with drugs. So that last with drugs, it's just like literally, don't put any emotion into it. It's just like somebody's shown you two words and you're reading them out. So hole, pause, with drugs, but quiet. Do you want to just give it a stab? So be very clear. That preacher said to me,
and that preacher said to me, you cannot fill that God-shaped hole with sex.
I can see Nathan keeps getting better, but I still don't know if his performance will be strong enough on the night to create the effects we need.
You cannot fill that God-shaped hole with... Fuck.
After the training session, we leave to do some more promotion for the event. And to maximise what little time we have left, with flyers in hand, we head to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium to drum up some more interest.
If you like, I'll say a prayer that your team does well. I can't say it's going to win. I can only ever ask for things to do well. Yeah?
And later on, we pound the streets downtown.
Just having a revival next week, and I'd like to come along, it'd be fantastic.
After a long day, and with the temperature dropping, we take our jet-lagged bodies home to bed.
This doesn't feel right for one of these places.
We've been told about a well-known local faith healer called Pastor Sean Pinder.
Oh, Pastor Sean, lovely to meet you.
We turn up unannounced to meet him where he's guesting at a small service in the unlikely venue of a children's nursery. Pastor James asks Pastor Sean and his host if he and the camera crew can stay, and luckily they agree. So Nathan takes his place at the back of the room to watch at first hand a genuine healing service.
Homosexuality is not okay. I don't care what old preachers say.
He has an extreme style, and once the crowd are at their most receptive, he starts the healings.
If you are Indian, you are hard of hearing, I want you to come up here. You, come here. You hard of hearing? If we close up your left ear and speak to you, would you be able to hear?
This man says he's partially deaf in one ear, which Pastor Sean is quick to express as a more major affliction.
You can't hear nothing. Oh my God. Somebody shout, be open!
Be open!
Be open!
Be open!
After the healing moment, it seems as if something miraculous has occurred.
Can you hear me? Say Jesus. Say Jesus. Jesus.
To prove the man's deaf ear had been healed, Pastor Sean had him face away so he couldn't lip read and had his assistant block his good ear. But from this camera angle, you can see that the man's good ear isn't being blocked at all. So maybe it's not such a miracle. Pastor Sean keeps going with several more healings of the kind we've studied. This lady is nearly able to touch her toes after spending years with a spinal problem. The euphoric service, like many healing rallies, creates a major adrenaline rush.
I've been healed.
Adrenaline is a powerful painkiller.
Touching this man already.
People feel less pain and can mistake this for their body being healed, especially when a pastor is telling everyone that's what's happening. But they're actually no better, and are still in need of the medicine that many pastors tell them to throw away. Pastor Sean leaves the stage triumphant. The entire service lasted for 4 hours and has been an invaluable lesson. Then something happened that nobody expected. Nathan is given the chance to plug his own show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Me, I've come from Uganda. I've come over to the UK. I was following a vision that I got given by the Lord. He said to come to Texas. He said to come to Texas and preach his word as far and wide as I could. And we're having a revival on Saturday, Lakewood Theatre, 7 p.m. God bless you, Pastor James.
God bless you, Pastor. I love you, man.
When encouraged to do so, the congregation are very happy to hand over their cash, which is collected by the man who was healed of his deafness.
The whole thing was very powerful, and I can't touch, in terms of performance and energy, what I saw in there tonight. I feel bad for my duplicity, I feel bad for my being a spy, basically. But the business of their profession is to get as much money out of people as possible. They should be talking about faith and love, and it's always about money.
So we've just come up against the kind of security that these people have at Derren, D-E-R-R-E-N, Brown. And we may not have a show at all on Saturday.
Having spent 6 months training Nathan, our diving instructor, how to be a faith healer, I now want to show him some examples of the ministry lifestyle. So we hire a car and set out to visit the headquarters of the Kenneth Copeland Ministry. Copeland's unflinching and dynamic style is typical of preachers in the prosperity gospel movement that's closely allied to faith healing.
We live in a $1 trillion economy and you're broke.
In the prosperity gospel, the biblical idea of as ye sow, so shall ye reap is interpreted financially. Give the pastor a donation and you'll receive 100-fold back from God. And if you don't, it's because you didn't have enough faith. Here you can see Copeland displaying his $20 million tax-free jet, seemingly as evidence of the Lord's grace, his congregation's generosity, and his status as an A-list preacher.
Somebody ought to shout amen!
We arrive at Copeland's compound where he lives and houses his fleet of private jets.
So these are the gates of Kenneth Copeland's house, or compound ranch, and we are already being watched by security. This is where the money goes.
We leave quickly before we're asked any awkward questions. However, as we're driving back, we see the main gates to the church and airfield are open, so we drive in and head towards the church. And then we discover how protective they are.
Where did he come from?
Hello, folks. Hey. I have a call about 3 suspicious vehicles.
We're making a documentary-style film. We're from England. We have a pastor with us who's...
Okay.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you.
The local sheriff has been called by Copeland's security team, and after some questioning and discussions with them, the sheriff takes details from some of our passports.
Derren, D-E-R-R-E-N, Brown.
We're concerned to see that this information is then openly shared with Copeland's private security.
Security has told me that they've spoken to this gentleman at least twice. about filming.
No, I'm not having that because that's not true.
As the security personnel for the ministry, they have the authority to do this. I will issue each of you, in one big group deal, a criminal trespass warning.
Which means if we set foot on Copeland's property within the next 12 months, we will be arrested immediately. So we've just come up against the kind of security that these people have. The worry, though, is now they've taken our details. If they Google me, they can find out what it is that I do and where I come from. If they search for you, they can find out that that isn't your real name. They've also got our details for the show. The concern is now they could work out what we're doing. Then we may not have a show at all on Saturday. That's our concern. Faith healing doesn't just affect those in pursuit of a miracle. John Edwards was a practicing preacher working apparent miracles at his ministry. His daughter died, aged 14, from a brain tumour, after he delayed seeking medical help, believing instead that God would heal her. After 10 years, he became disillusioned with faith healing and bravely told his congregation the truth. I asked him about some of the healing techniques being used.
What you do is you start pumping the meeting. We're having a healing meeting. Evangelist so-and-so is going to be here this week. If you know someone that's sick, get them here. They're going to get healed. And you're emphatic about it. They will get healed. I don't care if they got AIDS, birth defects, cancer, diabetes, anything, they're going to get healed. So there's already the adrenaline's running. It's hypnotic. If you have 300 people there, somebody's got a toothache, somebody's got a backache, somebody's got upset tummy or a headache, and he would say, tell me how long your head's been hurting. Do you believe that when I lay hands on you that you'll be healed?
Yes.
And then, Jesus! Like that. Adrenaline shoots through their body, the pain's gone.
Yeah.
So they're going to come off the floor and they're going to say, I'm healed. Well, they got healed of stuff adrenaline will fix. But when it comes to a paraplegic, a brain tumor, Down syndrome, amputees, have you ever seen meetings where amputees got their legs back?
No. That seems to be missing, yeah.
Now my definition of miracle is different.
Yeah.
Back then, if you had a toothache and it went away, that was a miracle.
Yeah. This is so difficult. This is so difficult. And I keep having to remind myself that it's important. People throw away their medicine and they die because they believe these people are healing them. People give their last penny to this movement, money they can't afford. People that don't get healed are told to blame themselves because their faith wasn't strong enough. When I speak to people that have had first-hand experience of how nasty that world can be, it keeps me going. It reminds me that it is important. We're halfway through our US adventure. Nathan's hardly had a chance to let his hair down, and today's his birthday. So we throw a surprise party in my luxurious low-ceilinged suite, complete with tacos and real American champagne. It's a welcome bit of light relief for everyone, and Nathan can leave Pastor James at the door and spend a couple of hours just being himself. Nathan's experience at the faith healing service earlier in the week made a big impression on him, and Pastor Sean Pinder was certainly not shy in front of our cameras, and so we called him up. We thought that if we could get him to our revival event on Saturday, it might help increase the attendance.
So, me and my wife, listen, we're going to be there. I feel like this is a God moment, Pastor James, so I will be there.
We're treading a very fine moral line, and it's a difficult position for Nathan to be in. Having met Pastor Sean, I can see that Nathan is again having conflicting thoughts about the continuing deception.
You're doing the Lord's work, Pastor James.
We've arranged a rehearsal for Nathan and the musicians involved in the show. He's also meeting his worship leader, Brenda, for the first time. More than just a singer, Brenda's an experienced worship leader. Her job is to create the right atmosphere for the event and to get the audience into a receptive state before Pastor James takes to the stage. So yeah, I've explained that you're going to be going through the sermon as if there was a full audience there, so you don't need to worry about that seeming, odd. It's vital that Brenda and the band believe in Pastor James and his mission, so he needs to stay in character the whole time. But we learn that Brenda has some friends in Uganda and is keen to chat with Pastor James about his experiences there. Yeah, I just avoid talking too much about Uganda in detail. or enjoy it and see what you can get away with.
I spent the good part of the last 10 years in Uganda.
Nathan is hitting the Ugandan issue straight on, which may be an overconfident move. And having introduced himself to Brenda and the band, they continue rehearsing whilst we discuss our game plan for the day. I tell Nathan that I think it's a good idea to rehearse the whole sermon here, which he's not happy about. And despite being in full view of everyone, a difficult exchange ensues. We're here for one thing, just to get a sense of the musical accompaniment. So it is a good idea, and that's what...
Do you want me to fall apart and be shit, or do you want it to be good?
No, I just want you just to bump through that a little bit.
Unbelievable. This is unbelievable. You guys keep changing stuff. Fucking believable. He was getting rather stressed and started swearing, and the bongo player heard. It's not good.
Come on, everybody, put your hands together.
I'm aware of Nathan's discomfort with this situation, but I think it's important for him to see it through, despite the obvious tension in the room.
Thank you all for having me here tonight. My name is James.
This isn't the first time that his nerves have affected Nathan in this way, and I'm concerned with how he's dealing with pressured situations. Should we move towards the end of the testimony?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
You're doing good.
Thanks. At least somebody thinks so.
After the rehearsal, I talked to Nathan in the car park about what had happened. How are you feeling in yourself after that?
They must smell that something's a bit odd about all that.
When we were having that conversation about whether you were going to give a little bit of the prayer section or not, and you were getting quite stressed about that, and you ended up going, it's fucking unbelievable. And you were seen doing that, and the bongo player kind of saw you.
Don't make out one time I blow up. Just don't keep pushing something that we've agreed on, and that was what we were talking about.
You can't say this is fucking unbelievable in front of the band. You can't do that, mate. If there's something you don't understand, you go, look, should we have a chat about this? You remain in character.
We agreed on something, and then you seem to change that again just before I'm about to go on, as if the pressure of the situation is going to make me do whatever you want. And I agreed what I was going to do, then you changed it.
Yeah.
If you do that just before I go on, then you're not going to get a very good performance, are you?
If that happens again, if you feel there's a conflict for whatever reason, we've spoken about it, something's changed,
don't
whatever.
Create the conflict is the answer.
There's going to be a lot of conflict. We've got 2 days. There's going to be a lot of conflict between now and Saturday. There's going to be a lot of stress. You have to handle that stress. And if you can't...
Darren, this whole thing is stressful. This whole thing is a weight.
So
I've handled it all the time. But if you're going to push me to the nth degree, then I'm either going to leave the building and not do this at all, or we can do what we agreed instead of changing it at the last moment, because that is just... I don't understand how you think that's going to help me do this well. You feel that healing power. You feel that healing power. Can you feel that?
Yes. Feel it. What's it like? What does it feel like?
It's a tingling feeling in my leg, man.
Nathan está com os nervos à flor da pele. Não apenas por estar infiltrado nessa indústria de cura pela fé, mas também por estar cada vez mentindo mais e mais e se relacionando com pessoas que ele não para de enganar. Agora, no próximo episódio, que você não pode deixar de assistir, o show está prestes a começar. Faltam os últimos ajustes. E Nathan vai às ruas para poder treinar a abordagem das pessoas e a cura nas ruas das pessoas. Gostou do vídeo? Clique em gostei, inscreva-se no canal, compartilhe. Até a próxima. Obrigado por assistir a mais esse vídeo. Quer aprender mais sobre hipnose? Inscreva-se no nosso canal. Ou então, clique aqui e assista outro vídeo. Até a próxima.